like law enforcement. They essentially wanted law enforcement. I don't think the public's going to let them get away with it. You know, we got it all approved in the great big beautiful bill, and they want to renegotiate. We don't like that.
Mr. President, the King's speech that he made to Congress, he spoke strongly about a strong NATO alliance. He also spoke necessity to continue to support Ukraine. Did his speech in any way change your thinking on either of those issues?
Well, you have to understand, my thinking is exactly correct, but I was very disappointed with the fact that when we called on them to give us a little hand, we didn't do it. I asked just to see whether or not they're willing to give us Ukraine, and in particular, most recent, you know, we asked them to do certain things on Ukraine, and we also wanted them to do things with Iran. And on Ukraine, they're very much involved, but they didn't do things the way we would like to see it. You know, it's been going on for a long time. And on Iran, they weren't there. As you know it better than anybody. They weren't there. The King is fantastic. We spent a lot of time together. We had a lot of talk. We talked about this also. And he loves his country, and he's a great king, and he's a great friend of mine. And I think if he were doing that, if that were up to him, he would have probably helped us with Iran. He would have followed the suggestions we made with respect to Ukraine, because, you know, we have some disagreements on Ukraine, and not having to do with NATO so much as European countries. But no, he's coming back tomorrow. We had a whole evening last night, and he's leaving tomorrow. He's going to come back and see us before he leaves, and but I think he's a phenomenal representative for his country. I think the people in the United Kingdom should be proud. I loved his speech yesterday. I watched it. I loved the speech last night. I don't know about my speech. I thought my speech was okay too, but I thought he was. I think he's an unbelievable king, and by the way, an unbelievable queen. They are a great couple.
Mr. President, this morning, we were talking about how busy you were this morning. James Comey was in court. He self-surrendered. He's now been charged a second time. This time over a social media post with that said 8647. Do you really think that he was endangering your life or threatening your life with that?
Well, if anybody knows anything about crime, they know 86. You know what 86? It's a mob term for kill him. You know, you ever see the movies? 86 him. The mobster says to one of his wonderful having somebody, they say 86 of a gun. I'm trying to keep the language clear. They don't use that term, son of a gun. They use the term, kill him. Yeah.
But do you really?
You know, based on what people like Comey have created, tremendous danger, I think, for politicians and others. Comey is a dirty cop. He's a very dirty cop. On the elections, he tried to help Hillary Clinton, as you know. He dismissed a lot of things that he should have proceeded with. I wasn't involved, but he should have proceeded with. No, he's a dirty cop. He's a crooked man, yeah.
Mr. President, you just described there's been disagreement between the U.S. and Keir Starmer on support for Iran. Did your visit with the King smooth that over?
The King really was it was extraordinary. I mean, he's an extraordinary person. And, yeah, it helps to the point that, you know, when you like the king of a country so much, it probably helps with the prime minister. I said, do you want to send a little help? He said, no, we'll send it after you win the war. I said, that's not good. That's not good. What do you think of that, Jared? Sending help after we win the war? I don't know. Something that bothers me. Wait, I don't want to get you guys involved, but I can imagine what you're thinking.
The United Arab UAE pulled out of OPEC.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
I think it's great. I think it's great. Look, I know him very well, Mohammed. And very smart, and he probably maybe wants to go his own way. That's a good thing. I think ultimately it's a good thing for getting the price of gas down, getting oil down, getting everything down. He's a great leader, actually. So no, I'm okay. They're having some problems in OPEC.
Mr. President, Kevin Warsh passed a hurdle today. The Senate Banking Committee confirmed his nomination. It will go to the Senate floor.
We need
He'll be on the
somebody.
Fed in mid-May. Is it your estimation that he can persuade the other Fed governors to lower interest rates?
Well,
Because they haven't done
they
so
should
recently.
because it's a good time to lower them. We're the most prime country anywhere in the world. We're right now having investments made in our country at a level that nobody's ever seen. No other country's ever seen it. Tens of billions of dollars are being invested. Factory plants, AI. I mean, not just AI, because AI is new. We're leading China by a lot in AI, as you know. I'm letting them build their own electric plants. They're building them, otherwise you could never do it. It was a concept that I came up with. I'm very proud of it. And by the way, they're building electric plants that people in the utility industry have never seen before. They're saying, man, that's incredible. So they're building these massive buildings that cost billions of dollars, and they're building their own electric plants, so they're not taking from a source or the old grid, you know, an old grid that wouldn't be able to do it. No, we're leading with everything, but in the history of our beautiful world, there's never been a country that has so much money invested in it as us. And tremendous number of auto plants, by the way. The auto plants are coming out of Canada, Mexico, Japan, South Korea, Germany. They're all coming to the United States. A very smart tariff policy. You know, we were taken advantage of for years. We were being ripped off by other countries for years, and those days are over.
Regarding Iran, how long are you prepared to maintain the blockade? Could that go several more months?
Well, the blockade is genius, okay? The blockade has been 100% foolproof. It shows how good our Navy is, I can tell you that. Nobody's going to... We have the greatest military in the world, and I built much of it my first term, and we've been building it since. And the greatest anywhere in the world, nobody even close. And you see that, whether it's Venezuela, and they have a good military in Venezuela, but it was over in one day. It was actually over in about 48 minutes. Iran, the same thing. I mean, militarily, we've wiped them out. They have no military left. It's all the Navy's at the bottom of the sea. The Air Force is never going to fly again. We've got an amazing military. Now they have to up. We give up. But their economy is.
Economic fury and the blockade get Iran to nuclear talks fast enough, or do you think another wave of strikes will be necessary?
I don't know. It depends. We're having talks with them now, and we're not flying anymore with 18-hour flights every time we want to see a piece of paper. We're doing it telephonically, and it's very nice. I make a call, or I have my people make a call, and you know the answer. I always like face-to-face. I consider it better, but hours I have a meeting, and you know what the meeting is all about, and you know they're going to give you a piece of paper that you don't like before you. It's ridiculous. They've come a long way. The question is whether or not they're going to go far enough. So, at this moment, there will never be unless they agree that there will be no nuclear weapons. Yeah, go ahead.
Are you considering relocating NASA headquarters in D.C.? States like Florida, Texas, and Ohio have expressed interest.
You're going to have to say it differently.
Sorry, are you considering relocating NASA's headquarters to D.C. once the lease is up? States like Texas, Ohio, and Florida.
Well, the best man to tell you that is the man standing right over here. You heard that question? With those beautiful ears of yours? He's got great hearing, you know, he's got super hearing.
Trick of the trade, sir.
What's the answer to that?
I think the answer to that is we have 10 amazing centers around the country that all kind of bubble up to contribute to the mission we're able to undertake, like Artemis II. I think in terms of the headquarters, we have a lot of people very interested in our mission. So being here in D.C. gives us the opportunity to kind of interact from all our stakeholders, make sure we make the right decisions for the nation.
Yeah, D.C. is an advantage, I guess, for you. It's got to go around. It's got to see some senators, make sure they keep going, right?
Yes, Mr. President.
Yeah, probably staying around sounds so bad. And Importantly, Washington, D.C. is now one of the safest cities in the country. When I came here a little more than a year ago, it was a very unsafe city. And now, maybe even more importantly than that, we have the hottest country anywhere in the world. And you helped make it hot. You know, you helped. When a year and a half ago, and I say it a lot, the King of Saudi Arabia, but others also, the King of Saudi Arabia said, Mr. President, a year and a half ago, a year ago, we thought you had a dead country. We thought the United States was a dead country, and now in the world, we do. And believe it or not, I mean, when everybody in the world was watching that incredible performance by NASA, these incredible people behind me, where they get the bravery, I have no idea. But you're a big part of it. You really are. We have the hottest country in the world. Thank you very much, everybody.
और इस वक्त आपने देखा कि अमेरिकी सदर डोनाल्ड ट्रंप अमेरिकी खलाबाजों से मुलाकात के मौके पर मीडिया के नुमाइंदों से गुफ्तगू कर रहे थे। उन्होंने गुफ्तगू करते हुए कहा कि ईरान के पास मिसाइल बनाने की सलाहियत कम रह गई है और इस मौके पर उन्होंने बात करते हुए ये भी कहा कि अपनी सलाहियतों को मज़ीद हमने पहले से बेहतर कर लिया।